Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I will share to you the most popular melee weapons that every Warframe players must own. But before we start, I would like to say that the melee weapons you will see here are what I think are the best all-rounder melee weapons that can be used in almost every mission in the game. There are many melee build variants in the game, but in this video, we will talk about those melee weapons that focuses on slam attacks. All four of the melee weapons I will show here are good in clearing a crowd even in steel pot levels, and as well as dealing with bosses and special units. You can use this against Sisters of Parvos, including the one on the Belly of the Beast event. You can use this also against Archons, Demolish units, or even Necramech in Disruption missions, Void Angels, and most steel pot bosses in the game. These weapons are great in general gameplay, and let's start with the first one you see on the thumbnail, named Fragor Prime. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Fragor Prime is the first hammer that received a Prime version back in 2016, hence I call it an OG weapon. Among all these melees I will showcase in this video, Fragor Prime is the one that can easily be accessed and provides decent red crit damage to your slam attacks. Since it's a Prime weapon, you can just purchase the full set for 50 platinum from other players right now. Also, the weapon has a built-in 30 initial combo that provides a decent boost to your damage multiplier, and as well as critical multiplier coming from the Blood Rush mod that I equip on this build. With this unique trait plus the Corrupt Charge and Ready Steel Aura mod, you will get 5 times combo multiplier with this weapon. It will get you to 9 times combo multiplier once you have the max stack of Galvanized Reflex, which pushes the critical tier of this weapon into another tier. By the way, the heavy slam of Fragor Prime does deal blast damage but doesn't seem to proc the status type. That is why this build is not good for the melee Affliction Arcane. Also, the new melee Doty Arcane is interesting, but the critical multiplier buff is not game changing as the hammer got low puncture distribution. In most cases, I use the melee exposure on this hammer for the corrosive damage on melee strikes. This makes the hammer better, and Fragor Prime is the perfect entry point for a slam setup, which is really popular now in Warframe. Moving to the second melee weapon, we got the Arcatitron, which is probably vying for the top spot of the most popular slam hammer in the game. Now, I have said that Fragor Prime is the easiest hammer to get in this list, but Arcatitron is close. The only advantage of Fragor Prime is that if you have the resources, then you can just buy it for 50 platinum, farm 10 Orokin cells, and wait for the weapon to finish crafting in the foundry. Arcatitron is also easy to get as you can purchase the blueprint on the market with credits, and you can farm the resources to craft it. If you don't want to farm Argon Crystal, Gallium, Circuits, and Polymer Bundle, then you might just want to purchase it for 180 platinum in the market. What separates Arcatitron from others is that this hammer is crazy when it comes to damage. It doesn't need that critical multiplier boost as it got a crazy mechanic called the Slam Capacitor that adds 1250% damage increase and 10 meters slam range at 5 charges. To get these charges, all you need to do is kill enemies with this weapon. Back then, the damage boost of Slam Capacitor is busted that it can easily achieve 2 billion damage. But here's the thing, the Slam Capacitor will not always be available if you want to spam slam attacks with Arcatitron. The thing is, kills made with slam attacks do not grant Slam Capacitor charges, even on slam with no charges. The kill from status effects will however grant charges, including procs from slam attacks. The Arcatitron has innate electricity proc with every slam, and that electric damage that can kill an enemy will give you Slam Capacitor charges. Because of this, Arcatitron is better with a melee influence setup, paired with any damage that can proc status types such as Toxin and Heat. This is why in most cases, Toxic Flash Sarin is really broken with the Arcatitron. Aside from Toxin, you can also give the weapon Corrosive with the Venom Dose Augment, and as well as the Viral if you subsume Nourish, or just use the Miasma ability to inflict viral status within a wide area. Another Warframe that is great with the Arcatitron is Lavos with its Valence Formation Augment. The Warframe can imbue element into the weapon, hence allowing you to use Toxin or Heat with added damage. The best part is, Elemental Augments right now doesn't combine with any elements that you have in your weapon, making it great for condition overload reload setup if you wish to use the mod. When it comes to spamming slam attacks though, I'm kind of disappointed that you can't take advantage of the slam capacitor most of the time, especially if your build is towards raw damage. Nonetheless, this is still a powerful newcomer that everyone should have, as Arca-Titron got the highest damage for all melee weapons in the game. With slam capacitor, the damage gets busted, especially with a few buffs coming from outside sources such as Warframe buffs. But if you are looking for a more reliable slam nuker that allows you to spam, then look no farther and try out the Sampote's Hammer. This is the perfect tool of distraction also for both Sarin and Lavos. If you give Sampotes this build, you will gain 7 times combo counter given that you also have Ready Steel in your Warframe aura slot and max Galvanize Reflex. I usually mod this way for slam combos since combo counter helps a lot in boosting the damage of the slam attacks. The best part about this hammer is when you pair it with the damage over time such as Toxin coming from either Lavos or Sarin's ability. The elemental damage will proc multiple times after doing a heavy slam because of its unique perk. Then, adding melee affliction into your build will add more damage proc, giving the Sampotes insane DPS despite of its low critical and damage when compared to Fragor Prime and Arca-Titron respectively. If elemental DPS is not your thing, then you can also use the new melee Doughty Arcane for this weapon, and it will give you a huge critical multiplier values as the weapon has good puncture distribution. By the way, if you are min-maxing a slam nuker build, then adding purple Archon shards for more critical damage in your Warframe is highly recommended, especially if you are using Warframes like Wukong or Zephyr. The good thing about Wukong is that he is versatile in mission, and having a weapon that can obliterate enemies easily allows you to finish the mission quickly. Also, using a subsume ability like Sata's Whisper, Roar, or even Eclipse will give your newcomer a huge boost in damage. However, when it comes to dealing massive damage, then there's no competition and Zephyr will win by a mile because of her fourth ability. Zephyr with any of the newcomers I mentioned here, especially Sampotes and the next one that we will discuss later, can easily wreck enemies and one-shot bosses such as Archons, Sister of Parvos, or even Kuvaliches. It's just completely broken because you don't need to mod for element, as the raw damage will also get multiplied by Zephyr's Tornado. The Sampotes in particular will have multiple procs when used with melee affliction, but I think it would be much better to use the melee Doughty for a Zephyr combo, as the Tornado will also boost your critical multiplier to insanity. While it's not needed, but overkill is surely fun to watch in this game. And finally, let's talk about the Incarnon Sancti Magistar. This is my favorite slam weapon in the game, while Sampotes was my personal favorite back then, but it changed when Galvanize Reflex was added in the game. The thing is, with Galvanize Reflex, Corrupt Charge, and Ready Steel, you don't need to whack enemies a couple of times to evolve the melee. All you need to do is kill enemies with slam attacks, and once you get that 6 times combo multiplier, evolve the weapon and enjoy the increase in damage and initial combo. The weapon also has the widest slam radius of all newcomers in the game because of its seismic slam perk, and the red crit is sweet, and I was very lucky to have a Riven mod that grants critical chance and initial combo to my Incarnon Sancti Magistar. With this Riven, I can get to 11 times combo, which allows me to do massive red crit numbers to enemies. The only thing I'm missing right now to push the damage of my Incarnon Sancti Magistar nuke combo is adding purple Tauforge Archon shards on both Wukong and Zephyr, and this build will be finished and it will be one of the best all-rounder damage nuking setup in the game. So that's all about it. I hope that you find this video informative. Before leaving, I humbly ask for your support by simply liking the video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Also, if you want to support us further, then we have a merch shop which you can purchase official GHS merch to help support our work. Thank you so much for all your support, and I hope to see you again in our next video. Squad Leader signing off.